Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fifth edition of Talk Death. Who owns your body? Funeral Law and Rights, the American edition this time. And today we are with Tanya Marsh and Lee Webster. Hello, Tanya. Hello, Lee.
We have another burial question. Lee, Jay Stone on our blog asked us if people who have home funerals choose to have a certain kind of burial typically. Can you have a home funeral and then say a traditional burial in a cement vault? Or are you seeing families request to bury their loved ones at home, over which we already asked? But
like, which one do you see more?
Yeah,
well, this is a really great question because honestly, a lot of people come to home funeral through green burial because they kind of back up the experience. What they realize is that they want to have this very natural way out without all of this, pollutant happening. And then they think, well, then why would I put an embalmed body with formaldehyde, which has, and all benzene and everything else that's in there, all the antifreeze. Why would I want to do that? And then they back up to how am I going to have what's the funeral going to look like if this is going to be the result, and how can I keep that authentic and consistent? So they come back to home funeral, and when people do it that way, it tends to be pretty cool because it means they've established that they have the ability to have a green burial or a home burial, and where you can do whatever you want. You make your own rules within reason, whatever the state rule is. But for people going the other way who decide, and I see this all the time, particularly with hospice patients who realize that they can stay home. They don't have to suddenly have the body whisked away. They'll keep the body home for a little bit afterwards. Again, they're often mandatory, time limits kind of thing. You have to pay attention to that. But then they realize, okay, I've done all of this natural, wonderful stuff. I've bathed the body and anointed the body, and I, cared for them, put them on dry ice or Techni ice or whatever, to keep them cool in a cool room. I've done everything right. It all feels exactly right. Now I have to go to the local cemetery, buy a vault, stick them in it, and so on. That's where the disconnect is. So see what I mean about walking it backwards? You kind of need to start at the end and then think your way through how you're going to get to that point as consistently as possible. And I see it a lot because people are calling me to say, how can I make this happen? Mm-hmm. And that's really what home funeral guides can help with. In both the burial aspect, they know a lot about green burials and they know what's available, and they also know how to prepare step by step to make sure that the family's wishes and the decedent's wishes are followed.
And where can people access these guidelines?
The guidelines, basically, you'll find the guidelines and the guides who can help interpret them for you on the National Home Funeral Alliance website. We have directories where you can go in and you can catch people, all over the country and Canada and the UK. Awesome. Anybody who wants to be listed on these directories is. We just want to be sure that people can find someone in their area who can help walk them through. So you can go there, look for home funeral guides. You can even look for home funeral-friendly funeral directors. We have a lot of them who are on board with this. They want to help families. They want them to get what they need.
That's unexpected and really interesting. Is there like a certain state where you have more funeral directors that are really open to home funerals than others?
No, I would say it's pretty. You have to take a look at the directory, but my experience is all over the country, and I speak a lot to funeral directors themselves at their own conventions, trying to get them on board with green funerals in general, meaning home funerals and green burial. And they're the really good ones, the ones who are there to serve families, which is most of them, honestly, are there. They want to provide this. What's holding them up is the number of green cemeteries that are viable. Right. They've got to remember they're in the business to help families through this.